All right, folks, joining us right now to talk about Eatonville, Florida is Nathiri. She is the executive director of the Association to Preserve the Eatonville Community. Glad to have you on the show. So tell us exactly, what is going on. First of all, how large is Eatonville? What's the population? And for folks who don't know where Eatonville is, what's the largest major city you're closest to?
Thank you so much for having me on. We are closest to Orlando. We are the largest undeveloped parcel of land in Orange County. Eatonville is a population of 2,500 on a good day, so we're a very small town. We, however, have a long history of civic pride, and the Association to Preserve the Eatonville Community is just the latest iteration of that community pride. In fact, we were organized in 1987 because the Orange County Commission unanimously voted to 5-lane, the 2-lane road that runs through our community. Now, it took us 20 years, but we were able to turn that away because there was no reason to do that except to try to provide the infrastructure for development. And so the Association to Preserve Eatonville Community, our mission is to preserve, protect, and promote the considerable cultural and historical heritage resources of the community. And over the last 30 years, we've actually been able to do that. At the same time, there has been, if you look back at the last 30 years, there has been a consistent drumbeat about once every decade to do something that will represent an existential threat. In other words, that if it were to happen, the town could be erased, could disappear. So we were able to get rid of the 5-laning of the road, and that is very much because of Zora Neale Hurston, people who try to keep up with these kinds of things, historic preservation, cultural integrity. Zora Neale Hurston has celebrated in her writing and in her work the culture, the folkways of the Eatonville people. And so because of her, Eatonville has become a literary destination. I mean, people come from all over the world to us. And we established in 1990 the Zora Neale Hurston Festival of the Arts and Humanities to celebrate the life and work of Zora Neale Hurston, to celebrate the historic significance of her hometown, and to celebrate the cultural contributions which people of African ancestry have made to the United States and to the world culture, right? And so we have actually been able to establish a niche economy around culture and heritage. That is actually the case. This is not about selling a book. This is about an industry, about representing a niche and an industry that in terms of travel and tourism is in the top 5 in the world. And so for us, when Orange County Public Schools has consistently tried to sell the historic Robert Hungerford High School campus property, that represents a threat to our very existence. It represents really just economic injustice, okay? Now, why is this such a horrible thing that they have tried to do? Because the land in the 1950s was donated by the people of Eatonville to Orange County Public Schools for, quote, the education of Negro students. And that is because in terms of the way that the history unfolded,
right,
after Brown versus the Board of Education, the Robert Hungerford School, which had been a private boarding school, founded on the principles of Booker T. Washington and Tuskegee Institute. I don't want to just get too emotional, but when we talk about history and heritage, Eatonville is a living museum. And if your visitors, if your viewers, if they really want to see what it means to have that kind of presence as a part of your everyday existence, come down and visit us for the 34th annual Zora Festival.
But you
January.
you mentioned the land. You mentioned the land though with the school. But were there provisions in the original
Oh, absolutely.
deal that stipulated they could not sell it?
That's right. And so what has happened over time? What has happened over time is there has been, as I said, that consistent effort to take over the land and to get around the deed restriction. And frankly, as we speak, there is some question about when that has actually happened. Now, I grew up in Eaton. Eatonville is a part of my heritage. I know I may present it a certain way, but my people came to Eatonville in the early 1900s. As a matter of fact, my grandfather on my mother's side was one of the mayors, A.N. Johnson, and he was a builder and a contractor. And so he knew about Eatonville because he built the home for the first principals from Tuskegee. All right. And so for me, and I would say that I'm representative of the passion and the emotion of the people and our concern about our commitment to the Hungerford property. As one man said, Hungerford is Eatonville and Eatonville is Hungerford. So what we're looking at right now is the effort by the Orange County School Board to enter into a contract with a developer where the Orange County Public School Board gets $10 million and the town of Eatonville might get $4 million. So I want to be clear. We are told that right now this rests with the town of Eatonville Town Council. But ultimately, we are expecting that the real situation is going to go back to Orange County Public Schools because Roland Martin, there have been so many schemes on that land,
right?
You know, something here, and they all go away. In fact, the first developer in this current contract walked away about 2 months ago. I mean, it's really quite amazing that we constantly see this. So we need to have Orange County Public Schools return the land to an Eatonville Community Trust. And that, for us, means the beginning of what we call the Eatonville Renaissance, because there is no doubt that the culture, the heritage, the history represents an economic catalyst for redevelopment and revitalization in Zora Neale Hurston's hometown.
Well, is it an upcoming city council meeting? Well, like, what's next? What's the next public thing happening regarding this issue?
The next, we are projected for February, the first Tuesday in February. Town council meets the 1st and 3rd of February, and the 1st and 3rd of the month. And it's projected that the second reading of an ordinance will take place at that meeting. Our organization has been just doing what we call a series of flyers to make sure that the people know what actually is happening. In fairness, we have found that when the people of Eatonville get the accurate information, they stand firm on behalf of the town.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Unfiltered video in just one moment. When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Check some money orders. Go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.